Hi, welcome. My name is Marlon Hernandez. I'm a professional makeup artist, and today I'll be your beauty class facilitator. So the topic for today is contour and highlight. Time after time, you've seen it all over Instagram, all over social media. You've maybe actually tried it to do it yourself. So maybe it came out exactly like the person on Instagram, or maybe you had a little bit of trouble and you're like, what should I use? Should I use creams? Should I use powders, or sticks, foundations, concealers? What do I use? Well, for today, for an everyday contour and highlight, we're going to be using powders. Alright? So let's go ahead and get started. The first product that I'll be showing you is, this is going to be her highlight color. So the highlight should be about 2 or 3 shades lighter than her skin tone. Alright? Then I will be using this for her contour color, this color right here. So the color is a little bit more of a taupey brown, not necessarily with a lot of warmth or orange, because remember, we're trying to contour, not bronze. When you contour, you create a more definition and you sculpt certain areas. So first and foremost, it's very important to identify your face shape. So if you are equally long as you are wide, that means you are a round face shape. If you are 1.5 times longer than you are wide, that means you are an oval face shape. Now, if up here in your temples, you're a little bit wider in the temple, and then it gets narrow right here in the chin area, that means you are a heart shape. Now, if you are a square shape, that means you are evenly, you can put, for example, your hands right next to here, and if your temple area down to your jawline is straight, that means you are a square. So for my beautiful model, she's a little bit more of a diamond face shape. So you're like, what is that? So a diamond face shape, she's going to be a little bit more narrow in the forehead and a little bit more narrow in the chin area. And right here in her temples, she's going to be a little bit more wider. So therefore, narrow, wider, wider, narrow. Therefore, she is a diamond face shape. Alright, so now that you have seen like what face shape you are, I'm going to show you how to contour and highlight. And if you're at home and you're like, Marlon, I don't get it, I don't know what face shape I am, just assess your face shape and see what areas of the face you want to sculpt and what areas of the face you want to brighten and bring forth. Alright? So you don't always have to know exactly what you are when doing this look at home. Alright. So let's go ahead and get started on the demo. So first and foremost, I'm going to be grabbing the highlight color. The brush that I'll be using is this brush right here. So the brush is a little bit bigger than a blending brush. On the side it is flat, and on the tip you are able to blend. So actually I love this brush to apply the highlight because it's going to be very precise about where I'm applying it. So because we've already seen that for my beautiful model, Fabiola, right here in this area she's a little bit wider, right? So therefore we don't want to necessarily put too much of the highlight in that area. Grab a little bit of the color, the end of her eye, on her actual bone structure right here. Apply a little bit of the color, go all the way underneath her eye, and then really create more what is called the triangle of light. So even in this light today, I notice you can really see my highlight because you can see where the light hits me. Turn this a little bit. So I'm focusing her bone structure here, creating the triangle of light. And the motions that I like to use, I'm using the flat side of the brush. So I'm just pressing it in certain areas so to really not to move any of the product, and then you can go back and glide it inward to create that triangle of light, see? And not focusing out here. Look at for me. And I like to kind of press the product first. And I love this brush because it's very precise about where I'm applying the highlight color. Again here as well, coming in, a triangle of light. And be careful, because if you did do a big great tip, she already had foundation and concealer on, but I made sure to use a translucent powder as well. So when I use that translucent powder, therefore when I go with the powder, contour, and highlight, I'm not moving any of the products. I'm going to do a little bit up in this area where the light would naturally shade, where it naturally highlights. A little bit on the nose. And right underneath her lip, and this little shadow too. Right under here. See? And she is now beautifully highlighted. Alright, so now what we're going to do, and remember what highlight does too. When you highlight, what you're actually doing is bringing forth light to where you're making it brighter in certain areas, okay? So if you don't want to emphasize, so what you're doing is you're emphasizing those areas. Contour is the opposite. So you're using dark colors to really define and sculpt certain areas of the face. So as we talked about her face shape, she's more of a diamond face shape. So what we want to do is we want to create a little bit more balance for those certain angles that she has. So for her, we're going to grab a little bit of the color, again with the same brush. So what I did is I did clean it off as well. Grab a little bit of product. You always want to grab a little bit of product, and if you need more, just go back and add more, because what happens is that if you apply too much product, then what's going to happen is that you have to blend it out too much. So less is more, because it's very easy to add more. So I'm going to feel her for her bone structure, and right underneath, so underneath this bone, right here, I'm going to go and I'm going to apply a little bit of the contour, and I'm bringing it forward. Now don't bring it closer like a straight line towards the nose, more towards like the mouth area. And here you also want to be careful not to bring it forward too much, because then what happens is that it can make it a little bit too dramatic for daytime. So again, forward to create this line. See how it's sculpting this area? If you see a line, then what you do is softly go up and blend it out. Alright? And now for her, right here in this area behind the ear, come towards her chin area. Just pretend it's a little scalpel right here. And blend it upward, therefore you don't see a line. So it makes it up here a little bit more narrow, this area, just right here. Because she is right here, more narrow. So what happens if I add more, it's going to make it even more narrow. So in that case, I'm just blending it. And then a little bit more. A little bit here in the forehead area. Make sure you bring it all the way in towards the hairline. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is that you're going to just do it right here, and then you're going to see skin color right there. So you want it to look as natural as possible. See? Do you see the difference? Turn this way from me. A little bit that way. So I'm going to feel for her bone right here. And then right underneath it, starting in the back, a little bit of color. And I'm going to bring it forward. If you apply too much color, clean off your brush. Take it up a little bit this way. See, I made it a little bit more darker so you can really see it. And then blend it upward. See how I'm blending up? I'm just using my wrist to blend up so you don't see a line. Again, contour is really just shading, not necessarily bring it all the way to the lip area. And then blending out the outer edges. There we go. And grab a little bit more. And then blending out any hard edges. Mirror. And look into our fake mirror here. And then blend it up. And that is where we contoured. And again, we're going to do it right in this area as well. Okay, so again, I like to start behind the ear. Bring it forward. Not all the way to here, because this is already small for her. So bring it forward. Then use the tip of the brush to blend it out so you don't see a line. See? And now she is nicely, let me look, highlighted and contoured. Sometimes what I'll do once in a while, if I notice that she needs a little bit more highlight, once I'm done, so I'll grab a little bit more of the highlight color and I'll just go back and apply it in certain areas to really make that contour pop. And the reason I do the highlight first too, by the way, is so you can really see her natural bone structure. All right, so we have contoured and highlighted my beautiful model here. All right, so let's move on to eyes, okay? So in the morning, I'll be honest, I like to sleep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a waterproof concealer, and I put a little bit on my ring finger. And then I'll blend it into my other ring finger. But this waterproof concealer is a little bit darker, so I'm going to create a smoky eye for her, and this is going to be a great tip for you in the morning, especially if you really want to sleep. So I'm starting on her lid area, I'm applying it. Open for me, Fabi? So as you can see, that already creates color. So this is a great product you can use in the mornings, or if you want to create that smoky eye, because normally when you do a smoky eye, you use darker colors anyways. So this is giving her eye a little bit of shape already. So I haven't really blended it out, put it all over her eyelid. So as you can see, that makes a big difference, right? I'm going to clean my fingers here. Then I'm going to use my ring finger and blend out the top. So you can still see that up here it's a little bit lighter. So see, that already did like so much already. So it's a quick trick that I use every morning, especially if you are going to be doing a smoky eye. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back actually with the contour color, and I'm going to contour her eye as well. So the reason I went above her crease, so look here, straight ahead. The reason I went above her crease, that's something that's very important. Because if you actually go with shadow and you only place it right here in her crease, once she opens her eye, you won't be able to see it. So look straight ahead. So I'm going with the blending brush. This is a blending brush above her crease to give her eye shape. See? And that already does wonders. So also, since I turned this way, I contoured her face. You can also contour her eyes. Start in the center, back and forth, in windshield wiper motions, back and forth. Here you can actually go upward too. Be careful not bringing it too low, because then the eye can appear a little bit droopy, so bring it up. And underneath the eye as well, what I'm going to be doing is grabbing a smudge brush, and this is a dome smudge brush. So Patty, look up for me. Start in the outer corner. Our same contour color that we actually used for her face to give a little bit of shade and definition underneath the eye without having to use an actual eyeliner, especially in the mornings when, you know, sometimes our alarm doesn't go off. You'd rather sleep an extra 10 minutes. So these are great tips that you could use. Okay. And so I'm contouring. There we go. And now I'm going to use our highlight. So it's the same highlight that we actually used for her face with the flat brush. And look right here in the mirror. I'm going to go underneath her brow just to give it a little bit more definition and to blend out that contour color too as well. See? Start right underneath her arch. And now what I'm going to do, same color, flat brush. Close for me. I'm going to do it right here in the inner corner. What this is going to do is really open up the eye area. And actually without using shimmers. You can totally use shimmers, but I like to use them at the end because I feel like I get a lot of the fallout too. Open. Look up for me. And As you can see, it totally opened up her eye area. There you go. So look right here in the mirror so I could see. So our audience could see here. Close for me again. So right in the inner corner. You've always seen people use shimmers. That's totally fine. Like I said, for me it's easier to do that at the end so I don't get any of the fallout. Look up for me. There we go. So now on her lid area, she still actually doesn't have any color at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a color. So I want this to be more of like a coppery, bronzy look. So I'm going to be using the color called Hot and Cold from this beautiful Anastasia palette. And again, I'm going to be using my flat brush. So I'm going to grab the product with my flat brush. Another great tip is that you can actually grab like a spray bottle. Right now I'm using an elixir, but you can actually get water and spray your brush directly. So therefore you get less fallout too. Close for me. So I'm really just applying this color on the lid area. A lot of times I feel like we start on the lid, but then once we go with everything else, we kind of like blend it out. This is a beautiful like coppery color, so it's pressing it on the lid. Open for me. See how beautiful it looks? So you can easily, even though we use more of like a brown concealer color, you could use purple, you could use brown. In this case, like I said, I'm using more of a coppery color. And if you wet the brush, you'll get a lot less fallout, and actually the color will be a little bit more intense. If you do get fallout though, let me show you what you could do. Beautiful, just beautiful. So if you do get fallout, you can grab like a powder brush and then just sweep it off. Because what's going to happen, and if you go like this, try to take it off, then you are going to create a little bit too much fallout. So again, I'm going to go now with a little bit of, this color is called Hot Chocolate. Right here in this palette, Hot Chocolate. So it's more like a brown with some burgundy in it as well. Look up for me. And we are going to do a little bit on the outer corners. So before I blend it, I really want you to see it. Go ahead and look into the imaginary mirror. And I'm just going to blend it out, so look up for me now. Again, when you don't want to use eyeliner, go back and use a little bit more eyeshadow in certain areas, like in the outer corner, so it actually looks like eyeliner. Now I'm going to use a black eyeliner. Close. And we're going to go on the top, starting in the outer corner, and bringing it forward. Open. So just to give her a little bit of shape. Another thing you can do is you can go back with a smudge brush and then just smudge it out so you really see a little bit of definition without that hard line that we sometimes do. So the smudge liner look is a great look for you to do, especially if you're in the morning. So apply the liner, I grab my smudge brush again, and then all I do is I blend it out. Beautiful. See, I mean, that's very simple. Those mornings that you really don't have time to actually do like the wing liner, especially if it takes you a little bit longer, and that is a beautiful look for my model here. And last but not least, I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of lip color as well. So this lip color is more of a neutral shade. So this lip crayon, these are great. You can carry them in your purse, but I love it because you don't need a lip liner, especially if you're in a hurry. It's 2-in-1. It's going to be a lip liner, and it's actually going to be your lip color as well. Alright, so she is all done, and actually before I am going to put a little bit of blush on her just to finish her off when she's off to work. And where do you apply the blush? I don't necessarily start right here. I'd start or in the back. So if you're like, well, where did I start? A good place is like where the brow ends. Make an imaginary line. So first, it's a good place to put the blush first, because if you put it here and it's too much, you're going to leave a little blush. Start here, blend it back. Start here again, imaginary line here. Back. And we are all done. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a technique or two. Thank you. Bye.